is Marisa Stone with Simon Says Social and the Systems Lounge, and I want to welcome you today to the 2017 Business Systems Virtual Summit, where you get to learn all about the systems that our speakers use to get things done every single day. And I'm so excited to have Rosie Anipare here today to talk with us all about crafting the perfect onboarding system for your clients. So let me tell you a little bit about Rosie. She's actually a systems and automation strategist, a woman after my own heart, who is committed to helping coaches, authors, and spiritual entrepreneurs truly streamline and automate their businesses for productivity, because that's what it's all about, guys. She helps them develop a consistent flow of clients and more time to focus on changing lives, which is what we all are here to do, right? Rosie, welcome to the 2017 Business Systems Virtual Summit.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting to be here. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Hey, I'm so excited to have you. And I'm really excited to dive into client onboarding systems, because this is a major component that moves the needle on your business. From you having a hobby business where you're just working with a few people here and there, to truly having some processes in place that step your business up so that you can up level. So let's begin at the beginning, Rosie. What does it mean to onboard clients?
Well, what that means is just basically when you get clients, customers, that's onboarding, as in you welcome them into your company. So there is a process that you go through with clients and when they decide to work with you. So that's really the process. You take it from either you meet first or you have an online conversation, depends if you're working in an online business, and then you take them through, signing their contract, perhaps filling out some forms. So all this is steps that you take every time you have a client, really. Yeah. So it should be repeatable tasks. So it actually is a process. It's just from the point of when the client first meets you or your brand, for that matter, all the way through to the end when they stop working with you, and even past that as well.
Yeah. So why should entrepreneurs have a system for onboarding their clients?
Well, there are many benefits for that. I mean, first of all, as we may know, your clients are your business, right? Because if you didn't have clients, you would not have a business. And this is why it's so important to treat them really well.
Yeah.
So the reason you have a process is so that you can actually treat every person like they are special, like they are a VIP. And that the system allows you to do that. Because if you don't have a system, okay, you might get a client, but then you did something one day, you do it that way. With the next client, you do it differently. Then you forget to send something. There's no process. So, they're not feeling special. When you have a process in place, you can follow it step by step, and you can make sure that everybody is treated in such a way that they will just, they want to refer you to other people, and they want to come back and work with you. So, there are other benefits as well, like productivity. You have a system, therefore, you don't make mistakes. Second, you get the peace of mind that it's all getting done as it's supposed to be done. Third, even if you have a system, a process, you can actually outsource it to a VA, a virtual assistant, or anyone who's helping you, and then they take over from you, and they can still conduct the business just like you were conducting it prior to them taking over. There's no change. There's smooth flow of business, and that is really important.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I can also see that it would save you a ton of time with regard to wondering, wait, did I send that questionnaire? Did I send that invoice? Did I do this? Did I do that? And so it totally makes sense that this is definitely a system that you guys need to be considering adding to your repertoire of systems that you're implementing this summit. So let's talk about the components inside a client onboarding system. What should that include?
The client onboarding system, mainly, as you know, it may be just simple things like signing an agreement. So you need an agreement that needs to be legally binding, of course. It's not something that you can find templates online, but always make sure you speak to your lawyer or a lawyer to have it looked over to make sure that it actually is regulated by your state or country or wherever you are.
Right.
Yeah, because so that's one agreement. Then you would have obviously invoicing as well. You need to have an invoicing. And again, if your brand is smooth, the invoice should be customized and looking just like your brand so that it looks professional and nice. Another thing is you may need an intake form. If you have a service-based business, you might need some information from the client. For example, if you're a graphic designer, you might need certain information like what colors they like, whatever you need to know. If you're a coach, there are different set of questions that you will ask them. So there's an intake form. Then there is also, I mentioned an agreement, welcome pack. This is very important as well into making your client feel really important.
Yeah.
That would be another thing. And then further down the line, you can ask also for referrals and for feedback, which obviously you can use for testimonials. So all these are the main things that you would have in your client onboarding system.
Right. What might I include in the welcome pack that goes out? I've heard a number of different things that might go into that. What are some kind of crucial components that I would want in that welcome pack?
The main thing you need to let them know is how you work. For example, what hours you work. If you're a coach, you need to draw your boundaries so that everybody knows that they can't just call you in the middle of the night, or any other service. You probably don't want people calling you in the middle of the night. So just how you work and your hours of work, how they can contact you in case of emergency, or do you have a preferred method of contact. So all these things that they need to know how you're going to work with them. And there are other things that you can also add, because I believe a welcome pack shouldn't be, because if I get a welcome pack, I don't really want to read it. You know, we all like something for ourselves. So you can include other things about you as well. If you do have those things like books you've written or articles that have been written about you, testimonials of people about you, but then going behind that, beyond that, you would want to include something to help the client. So you might want to include some sort of little link for them, like a gift, a special gift for joining you.
Right.
To help them, something they can take like a quick action on right now to improve their life, their business, whatever it is you're helping them with. And I think that's really thoughtful, because then it just shows that you actually do care and, you know, you want to be of service to them.
Right, right. That totally makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about contracts. I know contracts and invoices need to be part of the onboarding process, but how do they fit? Where do you put them?
Right. Well, so the contract would probably be sent first. So how it fits in the system, in a process, is when you meet a client or speak with a prospective client on phone or online. After they decide to work with you, the first thing to do is to send an agreement, really. Some people send it together, so it's really up to you. It depends on how your business works, because no business will have the same system. So you have to kind of customize it to how your process goes. But most times it's send an agreement, and after they have signed an agreement, you can send an invoice then. And this can be automated, so you don't actually have to worry about this. There are many tools out there that you can use to have that automated.
Cool. So beyond that contract, what are some of the crucial components that I absolutely should not leave out of my onboarding system?
Oh, where do I start? I believe they're all important. Yeah. I mean, I could talk about this all day, right? But as I say, from the very beginning, the initial contact of your client is not when they speak with you. It's actually when they find you, whether they find you on a website or their friend refers them to you. So you want to make sure that your brand is on point. When I say on point, it doesn't have to be flashy or anything like that, but it's just that it's very consistent. Because when they see a beautiful website, for example, and then it takes you 3 days to respond to them, it doesn't really match.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to make sure it's all important to have it all on brand, fast response. You lose a lot of clients if you don't respond to them immediately. Because let's say if somebody's inquiring about web design, the chances are they have probably contacted 3 or 5 other people. And so the first one that responds gets a better chance. So that's really important as well. And also having this automated, because I know it sounds like, oh my goodness, how can I answer them if I'm, busy or something? But you can set it up in a way that they get responded to automatically.
Yeah.
And obviously all the documents, you really need to have all the documents in place, like we mentioned, agreement, welcome pack, any questionnaires that you need. And going beyond that, when you finish with the client, it's not a matter of just, okay, I'm done, I'm going to drop you now and I'll never hear from you again. Because actually it's easier to keep an existing client than to find a new one. Right. So you want to really maintain the relationship with that person or business or company. Ask them for feedback, ask them for testimonial. You can also ask them for referrals, but beyond that, you want to keep in touch with them. Even if once a year, you can again automate it and you can create a system that will remind you to do it. Send a quick note, say, hi, it's been a year, I was just wondering how you're doing. Do you fancy a 5-minute chat? So just to make them feel important. And these are the main things that you really want to look out for in your onboarding system.
That makes sense, because you definitely, part of the whole onboarding process is that you're treating them like a VIP. So if they reach out to you and you're missing an action, that's not exactly going to align with what you're trying to accomplish, right? So that makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about how this onboarding system truly does impact the overall customer experience.
Well, it's going little tweaks to your system, as in fast response and other bits that we discussed. Mm-hmm. It can actually just increase your revenue. It will increase your revenue because clients will love you. They will, one, come back to you. That's one revenue. Two, they will recommend you to other people. Yeah. So that's another stream of clients. So it's really, really important. I mean, customer experience, even in real life, I had this broadband company. It was hours on the phone for me. And just that made me feel, unwanted, not looked after. And I was ready to leave. And because there are other companies I can join. Right. So really, and I believe this is the main and the most important system in your business that you should have really on point and streamlined if possible. Because you want to look after those people because they are your business and they are the ones that bring the money to you. Mm-hmm. And also, and also it's peace of mind as well. For me, I feel satisfaction when I know that somebody is feeling good because I made them feel good. So that might work for other people as well. I actually like pleasing people. So just making them feel nice is just a nice thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's a quote out there that says something about people will forget everything, but they won't forget how you make them feel. And this is one of those components that really makes them feel like the VIP that you want them to feel like.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. So how does the onboarding system actually set up expectations for my client, what they're expecting when they work with me? How do they get that from the onboarding process?
Okay, so, in the welcome pack, you would explain how you work, so then they know what to expect from you. Yeah. You might say that I'll get back to you within 24 hours if you contact me, or 48 hours, so they know. Right. It's always good to take them through the steps. So if you take a project on, whatever it is that you're working on with the client, you don't take the stuff from them and then disappear for a week. They don't hear from you because they don't know. You might be working on it, but they don't know. So let them know the process. Say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is the next step. I will be contacting you so and so. So then they know what to expect from you. Because if they're left in the dark, they can think anything depending on the actual person. Yeah. So be open and let them know everything, how you work, what are the steps. Do not miss out anything. So they're not left in the dark. Yeah. Then they really know what to expect. If they don't hear from you for a week, they know, okay, yeah, she did say that she won't be back, with this for another week or so. Right. So it's just making it all clear for them. And there's sometimes it can be a lot of miscommunication where, client didn't understand. So it's really important that they do understand and they feel safe and looked after.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I can see that for sure. So I assume that the onboarding process would differ by certain niches that you work in. So for instance, if I'm a coach, my onboarding process might be very different than, say, if I'm a VA. Talk to us a little bit about how some of these systems differ and why we want to make sure that our onboarding process speaks to our clientele.
Yes, sure. Of course, different businesses will have a different onboarding process.
Right.
And in this example, it would be a coach would have a different process, as in they normally ask different questions on the intake form. They
Right.
normally have like a pre-session questionnaire as well, so that every person would fill out the questionnaire just before the session. Whereas a VA needs to take certain details, for example, the password, sometimes even credit card details,
Right.
brand colors, and whatever else that she needs. So it will be different because obviously passwords are sensitive. So security, a professional VA would have to, or would use something like LastPass, a tool that actually just transfers the password. So it's not sent in an email or in a Facebook message, because that's easily discovered by other people.
Right.
And so that would be the difference in the way the onboarding is structured. With the VA, it's more first initial information that she needs, and then she communicates further if she needs something else. If it comes to coaching, for example, it would be like probably a longer questionnaire.
Right.
The welcome pack would also look much differently than VAs.
Right.
With the VAs, they want to assure the client that they are looked after as well. But with coaching, I think there's a lot of things, what coaching is and what coaching is not. And so the welcome pack also look very different.
Yeah. And I'm sure if you've hired a coach and she's asking you things that maybe a VA would need to know, you'd be a little unsure about what you're paying for because you would be completely confused.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
That totally makes sense too. So how does this onboarding process provide additional value to my clients even before I start working with them?
Even before, well, it's just welcoming you as a VIP. I keep saying that, but that's how it works.
Yeah.
It makes them feel comfortable. I mean, I love to be treated great in a restaurant. I will be happy to give them a tip, right? So it's the same. That's how clients will feel. They will feel supported. They will feel, like there is nothing that you cannot do to upset them.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
Yeah.
So, like I said, as they meet you or meet your website, they already get a feel from what your company is about and what you offer and what are your values for your business. And that's normally why they would contact you, because they are feeling something that they want to proceed and find out more. So really it starts on the website, and then as they meet you or one of your representatives, it's all the same. They want to be treated like royalty.
Yeah.
And that impresses them. When they get impressed, of course it'll be easier for them to say, yes, I would love to work with you.
Right. And I can totally see how, by making them feel like they are your number one client, that adds value, because that's a self-worth component, right? They really feel like you find the relationship important, that you find you're invested in what they have going on, you're invested in their success and those sorts of things. That's worth a lot more than me just hiring somebody and paying a flat fee for a coaching session, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
that makes sense.
It's more like a relationship.
Right. That relationship building. Yeah. So that totally makes sense. So I know we're coming to the end of this interview, and I hate that because I'm having a great time talking about this with you. But is there anything, and I also know we're going to dive much deeper in the next interview into really crafting your onboarding, your client onboarding process. But is there anything else that we need to know now about getting this onboarding system up and running for ourselves?
Well, first of all, I would say make this your priority. If you don't have one in place, it's very important to do. And it can get overwhelming, so take it step by step, and just ensure that, the best thing to do is, if you already have clients, look at what happens, and write it down step by step. You don't have to have some sort of brilliant system. All you need is to have it written down in steps, and then you can develop it from there.
Yeah.
But it's really important to have one in place. And I also say don't wait, because it may not feel like you need one right now if maybe you're getting 1 or 2 clients. But don't wait until you get more. I think it should be done immediately. So then when you get one, you know, you are prepared, you are ready.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't let yourself get to that point where you have more than you can handle and you're already overwhelmed. Oh, but by the way, you have to backtrack and go create this onboard system.
Yeah.
That's never a fun place to be.
Nope.
So Rosie, I know we're at the end of this interview and I appreciate everything that you've shared here. How can people reach out to you if they want to work with you, just email you because they have questions or perhaps access some of your resources? How can they reach out to you?
Sure, you can reach me I'm on Facebook. I'm on there a lot. So it's Rosie Anipare. I have a website which is rosieanipare.com. That's ROSIEANIPARE.com.
Nice.
It's one to spell. And on there, I actually offer a free business toolkit. It's like an ultimate toolkit for your business with a list of tools. So you can sign up for that. It's a free one. And then I carry on and give you little tips on how to use those tools, because there are so many. So very welcome. And if you want to email me, you can email me at hello@rosieanipare.com.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Rosie. I appreciate everything you've shared here. Guys, click on the links below as well. That'll be the fastest, easiest way to reach out to Rosie if you want to touch base with her or access some of the resources that she's sharing with you here today. Think about the content that you've learned about today. Think about how you can implement all the things that we've talked about into your own client onboarding system. And if you're part of the All Access Pass, stick around because we're going to be diving much deeper into creating the perfect client onboarding system in the next interview. Thanks, Rosie. I appreciate you being here. Guys, we will see you in the next interview. Bye, everyone.